This is Adventures in Vinyl Land, where we talk about vinyl releases of the past, the present, and maybe even the future. I'm your host, Randy, and it's about damn time I got on to David Bowie, didn't I? Since his death last year, the requests to review his music have been pouring in. Well, you'll be happy to hear that I have an entire month of David Bowie reviews slated up for April. So, take your protein pills and put your helmet on. It's time to start David Bowie Month. Now, Bowie has many classic eras, but this month we're going to be focused on his Berlin Trilogy, which lasted from 1976 to around 1979. Now, technically the trilogy started with the 1977 album Low, but today we'll be focusing a lot more on the 1976 album Station to Station that served as the precursor to the trilogy. Now, before this album, Bowie wrote a funk and soul album called Young Americans, and it was a huge hit. However, Bowie was growing bored with the image, just like he did with a lot of his other sounds. He introduced new music with synthesizers influenced by Kraftwerk and New, as well as guitar elements that were inspired by the krautrock movement by bands such as Can. At the time, Bowie was based in Los Angeles and was suffering from a cocaine addiction, with a diet consisting of peppers and milk. Based on an interview with Playboy, he was in a psychotic state of mind, living in a mansion full of Egyptian artifacts. He had strange habits and was hallucinating. His brain was in an unstable condition. While working on the set of the movie The Man Who Fell to Earth, Bowie wrote a semi-fictional autobiography called The Thin White Duke. He came up with his own design for the character of Thomas Jerome Newton. After the composition for the film's score got passed off, Bowie decided to take his new music and turn it into an album instead. He created a new persona called the Thin White Duke. The character was based off of his role in The Man Who Fell to Earth. He dressed in white button-down shirts with a black vest on top. It's probably one of the more sophisticated looks he ever took on. Now, the Thin White Duke persona was a bit of a dark time for Bowie. He suffered a psychotic breakdown and became so obsessed with the image that he practically became the Duke. He said things to his friends, family, and even the media that he would later regret. This led to a dramatic turn of events, which in turn led to the recording of Low, which we'll cover in the next review. Just like a lot of other things related to Bowie, the art has become iconic. On the front we see Bowie in a still from The Man Who Fell to Earth, with his character exiting a vessel. It gives off an ominous vibe, showing us what we're in for. The back gives us a track listing and not much else. Oh yeah, except for on my copy, which has a coffee stain on it, which I'm about 90% sure is not on other copies. Now let's give this thing a spin and really get down to business. Side A starts with the title track, a sweeping 10-minute epic. After a minute of train noises giving us an uneasy feeling, a piano riff comes thundering in, with drum and bass backing. The rhythm slowly picks up, adding structure to the song. Bowie's haunting vocals come in, showing the Thin White Duke as a force to be reckoned with. Despite Bowie talking about a magical moment, the song is horrifying in nature, at least the first half. The lyrics were allegedly inspired by occultist themes, which makes it even more wicked in nature. Then the music suddenly switches tempos and becomes more upbeat. Golden Years is funkier in nature, showing us the sounds from his previous album. The layered vocals add to the smoothness of the track. The chorus is bombastic, keeping the groove of the track flowing. The song was presented to Elvis to perform, but he turned it down. This is probably for the better, as I can't imagine anyone but Bowie singing this song. Word on a Wing was written in a cocaine-fueled bender while filming The Man Who Fell to Earth. The piano-driven track is nice and soft, glistening in a way that only Elton John or Billy Joel would usually pull off.
In this age of grand illusion, you walked into my life out of my dreams.
The chorus's gospel-like harmonies definitely tickle my pickle since I grew up on choir music. The rhythm creatively switches up, adding to the mysticism of the song. Side B starts with TVC-15, which was written during a hallucination where Bowie saw Iggy Pop's girlfriend getting eaten by a TV. The narrator imagines crawling into the TV set to find her. The piano bar rock rhythm makes for easy grooving. It's the simplest song on the album, seeing as the rest of the songs are complicated as hell. There's even a chant that perfectly captures the narrator's attempts to rescue his girlfriend. Stay starts out with a guitar lick that I swear I've heard before. Much like a lot of Stevie Wonder songs, I've heard it in the background several times, but never knew who actually did it. It's a psychedelic funk song. This week drank me so slowly, the days fell on their knees. The chorus features more layered vocals. The song fades out on an epic jam with some excellent guitar work influenced by the krautrock movements. The album closes on Wild as the Wind, a darker, more somber track than the rest of the album. Bowie sings in his upper register, showing off his fantastic range. It properly closes off the album, making us feel carried away with the wind. It's actually a cover originally written by Dmitri Tiomkin and Ned Washington, and has been covered several times by other artists. Station to Station has stood the test of time as being one of Bowie's best remembered albums. It served as a transition from his funk-influenced period into his Berlin trilogy. It used to be my personal favorite Bowie album, but listening to the trilogy has given me a new favorite. It's a testament to his stature, showing another shift in tone and persona, perfecting the many different phases of the pop star. His cocaine habits led to some scandals, but we'll talk about those in the next part of Adventures in Vinyland. Now, this was one of the easier David Bowie albums to find. I found this one shopping around in a record store for about $6, and I'm seeing that that's the general price you'll see for it. It was a pretty good seller, so there's a lot of copies out there. Beware the dreaded price inflators, though, who like to shove the price way up just because of his recent death. It's not that rare of an album, and if you see someone selling it for $20, try searching elsewhere before making your purchase. And of course, like almost everything else I review on here, you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, CD, cassette, and all that other good stuff. Join me next time when we continue on with David Bowie Month with the album Low. See you later. Try searching elsewhere before making your purchase.